Nearly 200 million viewers from around the world are expected to tune in Saturday night, May 18th, for the finals of the 2019 Eurovision Song Contest, the third time in its 64 years that the annual music competition is being held in Israel. When viewer votes lifted Israeli singer Netta Barzilai to victory with the women's empowerment anthem Toy at the 2018 Eurovision in Lisbon, Portugal, she earned Israel the right to host the competition in 2019.
Look at me, I'm a beautiful creature. I don't care about your modern time preacher. Welcome.
She and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu immediately said next year in Jerusalem to promote the idea of holding Eurovision in Israel's capital. Instead, the contest is being held in Tel Aviv, avoiding such controversies as foreign concern over the disputed status of Jerusalem and domestic worries about government-backed violations of Shabbat in the Holy City. It wasn't an issue to hold it in Jerusalem 40 years ago when Israel first hosted Eurovision. Galia Press-Barnatan, an assistant professor of international relations at Hebrew University, told the Times of Israel. This year, it was a non-starter. The choice of Tel Aviv suited British Eurovision expert Ben Royston, who told the Jerusalem Post that Tel Aviv was built for Eurovision, with one of the most liberal and pro-LGBT cities on the Med, stunning beaches and plenty of hotels, a world-class airport, and an incredible nightlife. Eurovision was first held in 1956 with 7 nations. Its winners have included ABBA, Celine Dion, and Katrina and the Waves. The contest allows one act per country to perform one song. It is open to all nations that are primary members of the European Broadcasting Union, which Israel joined in 1957, almost a decade before television arrived in Israel. Israel put aside concerns about the expense of Eurovision to compete for the first time in 1973. That decision paid off with Israel's first winning entrant in 1978, Izhar Cohen and the Alpha Beta with the song Abani Bi. So, in 1979, for the first time, Eurovision left the continent of Europe and was held in Jerusalem. Turkey, the only Muslim country with diplomatic relations with Israel at the time, withdrew from the competition under pressure from Arab countries. The 1979 contest was held less than a week after Israel signed a peace treaty with Egypt and provided a great chance to display how Israel and its culture had developed in 3 decades since independence. Israelis counted on great publicity and a huge TV audience. They celebrated a big bonus when Gali Atari and Milk and Honey won the contest with Hallelujah, making Israel the 3rd country to win Eurovision in consecutive years. Israel declined to host the contest in 1980, in part because of a date conflict with the somber Yom HaZikaron, Israel's Memorial Day, and in part because of money. The Israel Broadcasting Authority had invested heavily to upgrade its TV infrastructure for the 1979 Eurovision and still couldn't fully broadcast in color. Rather than spend the money to host again, the authority devoted its limited funds to completing the transition to color TV, which happened in 1981. Although Israel had further success in Eurovision, including finishing second in 1982 with Avi Toledano's Hora and in 1983 with Ofra Haza's High, it did not have its 3rd winner until 1998. That year, transgender singer Dana International represented Israel despite protests from religious Jews, and she won with the song Diva. That victory brought the contest back to Jerusalem in 1999 when 23 nations competed. When Israel first participated in 1973, it was one of fewer than 20 countries in the contest. When Netta won in 2018, 43 nations competed. The 2019 contest in Tel Aviv includes 41 of those 43 countries. The exceptions are Bulgaria, which lacked the money, and Ukraine, which pulled out over a controversy involving its potential contestants' ties to Russia. No nation boycotted Eurovision 2019 because of Israel's hosting, despite calls from the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement for artists to stay away from what is officially an apolitical celebration of music. The Israeli government countered the BDS movement with a BDS campaign of its own at boycotteurovision.net. Beautiful, diverse, sensational. The Gaza-based Palestinian Artists Association on May 8th accused Israel of using Eurovision to whitewash a brutal apartheid regime and held a sit-in at the European Union's Gaza office. That protest foreshadowed demonstrations outside the Eurovision contest, starting with more than a dozen protesters at the opening ceremony May 12th. Playing off the official theme of the Tel Aviv competition, Dare to Dream, the anti-occupation group Breaking the Silence welcomed Eurovision fans to the city with a banner declaring, "Dare to Dream, of freedom. Such political protest did not deter Madonna from joining Netta, Dana International, Gal Gadot, and others performing during Eurovision. It's not clear whether that activism contributed to lower than expected tourist attendance. The Tel Aviv Hotel Association projects only 5,000 foreign visitors in the city's hotels, down from a Eurovision forecast of 15,000. Another factor could be safety concerns. Israel is spending more than $5.6 million on security, but the contest is happening within 2 weeks of a barrage of more than 700 rockets from Gaza. But newspaper Haaretz put most of the blame on high prices, including ticket packages costing almost 3 times as much as those at other Eurovision contests in recent years. Still, Israel is the center of European culture for most of a week. Although Israel's representative, Kobi Marimi, is not among the favorites, he, like the rest of the nation, has the opportunity to highlight what Israel has to offer beyond the conflict. See the following links for more information.
Not giving in.